everyone, this is our Monday challenge, and this week we're going to do something a little bit more technical, very much on the same theme of seeing if your dog understands verbal commands. So we're going to do a left and right challenge this time. We have a separate command for left and a right because often there'll be a time, very typical, if I turn around, you can see round us here. Toby just scans the camera around. Toby just stands the camera. That we have got hedges, and some places obviously you have dry stone walls. There are barriers where you can't see your dog. So it's very useful for us if you're picking up on a picking up day, or if you're a gun and you've got birds down, if you can send your dog over either a wall or through a hedge. And if there's somebody, maybe a gun the other side, who can see what your dog's doing, if your dog will handle what we call blind, that's really useful, because what we don't want is the dog having to keep coming back to see what commands directionally you're asking the dog to take. So to build up to blind handling, e.g. your dog can't see you but can hear you, we need the dog to understand a different command for left and right. It also applies if you've got what we call dead ground, so it might be where the ground drops and the bird's actually in the ground that you can't see, down a hill for example. If someone else is down there, can see what your dog is doing and can tell you the dog needs to go left or right. If your dog has independent left and right commands, it's really useful. So we're going to just very quickly show you how I teach a left command. And how do we teach it? We teach it both with a visual aid, with a hand up and a directional command, but we also use a verbal, put a word to it. So for me, I use, for going away to the left of me, I use get on, and going to the right I use the word out. They need to sound different so that the dog does not get confused. Most dogs will see a visual command much stronger than they'll hear a verbal command, and of course a verbal command at a long distance isn't really going to work either, because they'll probably just not hear you, the wind takes your voice away. But we also have times where we need to send the dog on a visual command with no voice, because you are too far away for the dog to hear you. Okay, so I'm going to just do a very quick demonstration of how I teach a dog to go left initially, and then I'm going to walk through the challenge. So here I am out in our grass field, which is really short grass, which is ideal for this. I'm going to use my usual target dummy. You never teach a left and a right at the same time, and what I tend to do with my clients is they teach the left command for 1 week when the dog's really understanding it, then change over and teach the right command. But you don't do the same thing in 1 week, because you want the dog to really understand what the verbal command means, not just the fact you're moving your hand left or right. So this is how we do it. We walk the dog out a little distance. If you've got a track, stay there. If you've got a track, then that's useful as well, or a T-shape, like you can mow a T-shape in a lawn or a field. That's really helpful, because getting your dog to run on a straight line at right angles, so 90 degrees, really helps. So what I'm going to do is, Norman's at heel, so I'm just going to make the throw sound. Put dummy out so he can see that. That's nice and visual. And I'm going to leave him, but I'm going to leave him facing the dummy. Okay, so I'm not going to go far away. This was a young dog. This is his first time doing this. I wouldn't take myself away too far. I'm going to start off with a stop whistle with a hand up. Those stop whistles, a little bit of praise. And then I'm going to very slowly arc my hand out. So I go to sort of 10 past 10 and then down to 9 o'clock. So my hand's level with his shoulder. I'm going to wait till I get eye contact with him. And the go section will be the command, but I also make a step. Get on. So with a puppy, I would just praise to say, yes, that's correct. You know what you're doing. So that's right. So it was a really big hint up. Always use a stop whistle, because of course the first thing you're going to do to get your dog's attention is to blow a stop whistle. So when my dog turns around, I want him to see this picture. I don't want him to see this picture. The reason being, if I'm in a crowd, how is he supposed to pick me out? And he's about 200 yards away. He can see this picture, whereas my hand is independent from my face, so it's not here. My hand's well up here. He can see that there's a very clear hand signal. And then I just arc to 10 past 10, or 10 to 10, and then to 9 o'clock. And then the go command is the step. So it's the step and the verbal is what we're doing. So we'll just do that very quickly now, just with visual, without the verbal command as well. The same thing. Just going to pop the visual dummy out there. I'm going to leave him facing it, because again this helps. If I had him back towards me and he's a young dog, there's a chance he would just come back towards me, but every cue is helping him now. He's facing the dummy, he can see it visually, so there's very little chance of him getting it wrong as a dog, as a young dog learning. So same thing, I'm going to start with my stop whistle, but this time there's going to be no verbal command, it'll just be a visual command. So I'm going to do the same thing out to my 9 o'clock position, and all I'm going to do, Norman's just had a little anticipation. This is why you're talking, woman, get on with it. All I'm going to do is use my step as the go, but she does know. Okay, so we'll do that again. Out to 9 o'clock, and then my step will be the go. So no verbal, but he understands, because he's been trained this, to go on just a visual command. Okay. Now this is your challenge. So we're going to have the left and rights out. So this is assuming your dog has now been trained independently, a different verbal command to go left and right, as well as the visual. So Norman has this training, he's fully trained in that respect. And all I want you to do for your challenge is we're going to set up a left and a right at the same time. So he's going to see them both thrown out, and they're both be visual targets. But what I will do is send him for one of the dummies, but only on a verbal command. Let's see if he understands the difference between get on and out. Okay. This time I'm having him back to face me at the front, so he doesn't get to guess which way he's going. And I'm going to still use a stop whistle hand, but I'm actually going to use the other hand to the way I want him to go, so he doesn't get a cue thinking that I'm using this hand if I'm going right. Good lad. Get on. Good boy. Good boy. Out. Good lad. Come on. Okay, that's it. You've got 1 week to complete your challenge. Post your video on the comments page as usual, on the comments of the page, challenge page. Again, so all I want you to do is just have one stop whistle hand and then no directional commands, and that's your challenge. See if your dog understands the different left and right commands. Best of luck, everyone.